So we're leaving, heading to Tenerife. It's about 55 miles today to an anchorage in Los Gigantes.
It's been so fun to meet our friends again after 4 years that we hadn't seen them, and a very unique experience to see the volcano erupting. Yeah, it's quite extraordinary, really, and it was really interesting to meet people who live here on the island and what their experience is of the volcano and what it's like to live on an island with active volcanoes. And since 2 days back now, the volcano has been very quiet. There hardly been any lava going out or ash. So the scientists don't want to say already that it has stopped because they're not sure. Some thinks that it is calming down and shutting down, what do you say?
It looks like it will be a nice day, but on the horizon there's some very big squalls. But I don't think there's a lot of wind in them, just rain. So the sailing is good today. We have a beam reach to a broad reach. Right now we have a little bit too little sail out. The wind speed goes up and down, it's pretty gusty. And because that's how it is here between the islands, there's a lot of acceleration zones. We're not in one right now, but still the wind is pretty gusty. And when we get closer to Tenerife, there is an acceleration zone. So I suspect the wind will increase quite a bit once we're there. So right now we're just sailing reef down, doing 5.5 knots. But then suddenly the wind pipes up to 25 knots and then we have a little bit too much sail up. So I'd rather keep it this way. Straight ahead over there we have Tenerife, and the island over there is La Gomera. That's La Palma. And to the south down there we have El Hierro somewhere.
We changed plans as we got closer to the anchorage in Los Gigantes. We could just see that the waves were going straight in. So that would have been really uncomfortable to stay at anchor there. So we have continued south along the coast and we are now almost in Los Cristianos, the biggest town on this side of the island. There is an anchorage close by that seems to be like the best protected one around here, so we'll try to go there.
And the wind has been really back and forth all day today. And it's whipping around here, so it's actually an acceleration zone we're in right now, but the winds out at sea are pretty low. But we have around 20 knots here. We're only sailing with the head sail to make it a bit easier, but we're doing 6.5 knots, so that's good. Yeah, and the anchorage Malin talked about is just over there, maybe, I don't know, 4 or 5 nautical miles to go. The problem nowadays is that it's very crowded here in the Canaries. There's a lot of boats in the marinas, and of course also in the few anchorages that are around. So we'll see if it will be any room for us and how the conditions are with the waves when we get there. Overall, it's been a lovely day at sea today. Beautiful weather, warm. We just dropped the hook, and yeah, it's a pretty rolly anchorage, but not too bad. There's a lot of boats here, but I think we dropped the hook at the right place. And I'm glad that we continued to this anchorage. It's a lot better than the one at Los Gigantes, even if it will be rolly here. Once the wind drops and we're turning the broadside against the waves.
If you've ever been on holiday in Tenerife, it's very likely that you stayed here in Los Cristianos. The island gets around 5 million visitors every year, and the majority come to the southwest side where it's sunny and warm. A fun fact is that it was a Swede who started the international tourism on the island. Don Benito, as he was called here, came here in 1956 to ease his ailments from multiple sclerosis. And he got much better and spread the word of Tenerife in Sweden, which then spread across Scandinavia and beyond.
It's another sunny day here outside Los Cristianos, where we've been now for 2 nights. One full day yesterday. We were mostly... No, I was about to say relaxing, but we didn't relax. We were working. But it's so much warmer here than La Palma, where we stayed in Santa Cruz. And now we're about to weigh anchor and head over to the marina in San Miguel, where we have booked a slip, which you have to do, and it's pretty likely that we will stay there until we leave for Atlantic crossing. So this anchorage will probably be the last one before we reach the Caribbean. So we have quite a lot of work now ahead of us to prepare everything for the crossing, and our friends Camilla and Adam that have visited us before, they will actually join us for the crossing, so we get a little bit of help with watches and with Vera. But first, my mom is coming to visit us now in a few days, so we'll pick her up here at the airport and we will celebrate Christmas with her.
Unfortunately, we don't have any wind today. Right now we have 3 to 4 knots of wind through, so we're motoring, but it's only 9 nautical miles to the marina, so not very far. Right now we're at the southernmost point on the island, at the lighthouse here. And the landscape here is quite cool. You can really see the volcanic origin of the island with all these small mountaintops that are really volcanoes. So barren. And Teide, the highest point up there, that's Spain's highest mountain. 3,700 meters above sea level, about. And there's actually some snow up there. I don't know if you can see it from here.
A little lunchtime here. Some leftovers, but with homemade mojo sauce from La Palma. Here you go.
The marina lies in Golf del Sur, which is a place with many golf courses, as the name tells.
Airport now, waiting to pick up my mom. Ja, mamma snart kommer.
It was so good to have my mom here.
Åh, vad fina. Kolla Johan. It's early Christmas. Christmas. Some new film gear. And as I always say, a full bag of Swedish candy. And it's mainly licorice. Oh, a new drone control for the DJI 4. Let's hope this works, because the other one doesn't, so I haven't been able to use it. So here we are now in Marina San Miguel on the south coast of Tenerife. And today we're starting the first thing on our to-do list before we can start our Atlantic crossing. And that is to expand our house battery bank. As you know, we installed lithium batteries just a few months ago, so you might be wondering why we're already expanding. But the thing is that the owner of Battery Balance, the company where we bought the battery management system from, Michael, he's called, he really liked the videos we made, so he reached out and actually wanted to sponsor us with an additional X2 BMS and additional lithium batteries. And of course we gladly accepted that, because that will really help us to become even more independent with electricity on board. Johan is going to install the new battery bank and it will sit here in this compartment underneath the companionway stairs. So with this new battery bank we will have in total around 400 amp hours in 24 volts.
So this unit will be a slave to the other BMS that is sitting in the stern of the boat. But it will still have a separate relay, so it can control high voltage alarms, low voltage alarm, and high temperature and low temperature for this battery pack separate. this is another type of project. Not very fun, but it needs to be done. I'm going to change the, I don't know what it's called in English, the backventil in Swedish. On the toilets it's leaking back, so it's because of that the toilets get smelly. Yeah, I'm done. Not too bad. I mean, it could have been a lot worse. I mean, marine toilets can really be the sailor's worst nightmare. But in this case it was actually okay. The toilet won't be smelly anymore.
My mom went out to play with Vera in the mornings, so both Johan and I could work, which was such a big help.
The cable canals under the floorboards were already quite full, so finding room and pulling through the new power cables turned out to be the hardest job of the whole installation. So I'm done with the installation on this side so far. The box is in place, the BMS, and the different fuse boxes for that, and the big fuse for the batteries, and the relay that is controlled from the BMS box here. And like I said before, this is a slave system to the other BMS that we have for the other battery bank. So this one will control this relay, but the other BMS is controlling the load and the charge buses that we have under the bed. So if the main BMS decides to close the system down, these batteries will be closed down as well. So what's left now is to hook up the cables under the bed and also install the actual batteries here and hook up these tap cables. And you need these cables for the balancing of the different cells within this battery package here, which is something the BMS box is taking care of. After all the cables were pulled through, the actual connection of everything was pretty straightforward. So now I'm done with everything back here. All the cables are connected to the A BMS, the master BMS, and also the battery cables. Everything seems to be working fine. I mean, there's really nothing happening that I can see, but everything seems to be working good. The voltage now on the whole system is 28.3 volts, so pretty much 100% charged right now. So now I will just put back the cover here, and also I'll make sure to strap these battery packs down so they can't move around in here. So this whole installation with the second battery pack took me around 8 to 9 hours, but spread out over 2 days. So not that bad, really. A lot faster than I thought it would take. So. This second battery pack, the cells here comes from a company called GBS, and Battery Balance sells those battery cells. They're high quality as the cells we have in the stern. The Winston cell we already have. This battery pack has a nominal capacity of 160 amp hours in 24 volts and a true capacity of 200 amp hours. So in total we will have 200 amp hours here and 250 amp hours from the Winston batteries in the stern. So in total, 450 amp hours in 24 volts, and that's equivalent to 900 amp hours in 12 volt.
It feels great to have such a big power bank now. After all, the main thing about the cruising life is being free and independent. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the episode, it would really help us out if you would consider to support our production. Please take a look at our Patreon page.